This video will conclude the saga of my air compressor woes. So far, we've made 3 attempts to unload this thing, created a janky way to roll it into place,
Things are popping. Don't think too much about that.
and discovered that this compressor came with a hole in the tank. The drama isn't quite over yet, so enjoy watching the air compressor in my shop both shrink and multiply by the conclusion of this video. At this point in time, it's been 2 weeks since I discovered the leak, and Eaton Compressor has built me a new compressor, and it's due to be delivered tomorrow. They've told me they spoke with the shipper, and they said they'll be receiving this defective unit at the same time, since it's quite a hassle to send and receive tractor-trailer deliveries at my workshop. The plan is to simply bring this one up to the end of our driveway this evening, so in the morning we can swap units with our tractor and not force the shipping company to sneak their tractor-trailer back here.
Just in case they can't find it this time.
This compressor weighs about 1,100 pounds, and it is both top-heavy and at the limit of what our tractor can lift. In addition, the shipping packaging is no longer on it, so we don't have the provisions in place to strap it up top. So I figured with the bumpy ride ahead, we'd clamp the pallet directly to the forks and add a safety strap up top and just send it. It actually worked really well, and we were able to safely get this compressor out to an easy transfer location for the shipping company. Of course, because nothing goes to plan in this saga, it turns out the shipping company was in fact not picking it up the next day. However, the delivery guy was super awesome, and because he had a short truck, he was able to just sneak his truck across the bridge to deliver the new compressor. I wish I took some footage of it because he is a real pro at driving this truck.
Delivered it right to where it goes. What a guy. And off he goes. Good man.
No matter, let's get this new 120-gallon unit unwrapped and deal with our shipping logistics later.
I can't win with this company. Now they've sent me an 80-gallon, 7-horsepower compressor. I ordered a 120-gallon compressor. What the hell's going on?
Utterly baffled at this point in time by how unlucky I am, I do my very, very best to keep my composure and call Eaton Compressor again. There's no point in getting angry, so I get on the phone and as usual there's always someone available to talk to right off the bat. Immediately, my rep realizes he messed up when he was reordering and took full responsibility for the wrong unit being sent this time. If it weren't for all this incredible customer service, I'd very likely have made it my personal mission to go scorched earth on them across the internet. But with the honesty they're providing and working this whole ordeal out for me, at the end of the saga, I'm still a satisfied customer.
Yeah, because it's just coming to a customer satisfaction because, at first time it's like whatever, but now it's like, money back or send me something else with that gives me more. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is that'll make me happy, but the taste in my mouth going with you guys has not been good because like when I called you originally, your website doesn't really work right, and the internet, when you look up Polar Air anyways, you only get one thing about your president being a jerk to some guys on the internet. That's like all that comes up about you guys, and I still bought your compressor because you were great to work with.
I was going to say, if you dig more, you'll find mostly good stuff.
Oh, I know, but like the big thing, that a lot of people like repeating that, and I was like, whatever, just people being internet people, but I don't want to add to it because you have been great. You guys pick up the phone. Your tech guy is great to work with, and I don't know enough yet from using your compressor if it works, but so far I've got a hole in it and the wrong one. It's not a good taste.
All for naught, going back to the house. Now that I know XPO can get across our bridge easily enough and I have a good rapport with the driver, it's time for this holy unit to go into the shop pending resolution to our latest problem. Right here. Yep. And so the holy air compressor is returned. We'll see what the outcome is for the compensation for all of my troubles. Either it'll get picked up in a couple of days by the freight company, or I'll get it repaired and somehow come to an agreement with Eaton Compressor on this goof up. Can't believe they sent me the wrong compressor size after having one with a friggin' hole in it. Ay, ay, ay. Even though this new compressor is the wrong one, I'm going to use it since it's in place, so I swap over all my electrical and plumbing, and naturally my GoPro has a fatal error mid-recording, so I lost the footage of me actually turning this one on and being happy it doesn't leak. But here's a little audio clip that was recorded.
Okay. And turn on Don't Explode. Oil pressure. Yep. The sweet sound of silence. 150 psi contained within the tank. So it's been about 3 months since I hooked up this 80-gallon compressor, and I realized I never really recorded the conclusion to this saga because I didn't really know when it was going to end. So let me lay it out for you. Within a few days of talking with my sales rep, I had the opportunity to talk with the CFO of Eaton Compressor. Right off the bat, he tells me that they really goofed up here and that he wants to make it right for me. He knew at this point I really didn't want to deal with any more shipments, but said they absolutely needed to get the defective unit back because they needed to inspect it and get that problem resolved with their supplier. For all the trouble I had to deal with, he wanted me to just keep this 80-gallon compressor, and he was going to send me a new 120-gallon compressor as well. This, of course, was a really great solution because now I have 2 compressors for the price of 1. I was blown away by how generous this was because this 80-gallon compressor is something like $3,500 till it's shipped to your door, and all I was really gunning for at this point in time was about $1,000 refunded to me for the cost of this, which was in the realm of $4,000 till it was shipped to your door. I mentioned this in my previous video, but customer service like this really shows just how good a company really is. It's easy to seem good as a company when a transaction goes well and there aren't any issues. But when issues do arise with a product or service, that's when you really find out the quality of a company. Eaton Compressor really stepped up here throughout all of my issues, and I really respect them for that. Plus, now that everything's been resolved, I've been using this compressor for a couple of months and it seems to work really well. And with all the different features that it comes with at the price point that it is, it seems to be quite the value. Of course, now I've got 2 compressors and I only need 1 in the shop, so I really need to get working on my compressor shed so that I can put this bigger one into it just behind this wall here. Then I can have this stored away. It'll be even quieter than they are just in the shop, and I can have it be pretty much silent because I can't hear this thing from outside of my shop, so I imagine when it's outside of my shop I won't be able to hear it from inside of my shop. And in the process of making that shed, I will get this set up to actually have real dry air, because right now I'm running this tiny little thing that I bought at an auction for $5, I think. It works, but it's definitely not doing the job that I need for such a big compressor when you're really pushing a lot of air through it. And when I have that shed built, I'll actually have some more floor space again in my shop because, spoiler alert, if you're looking behind the camera, it looks really messy. This smaller unit here is going to end up in my dad's new building when it finally gets built, and I think the last time I mentioned it, I said it'll be done in a year, and well, I think now it'll be done in a year because we have other projects that need to happen first that we're still waiting on. But when that's done, this will go in there, though for the time being this will still need to be stored in this building. And because this one's a little bit shorter, what was a problem for me is this guy on the pallets is just a little bit too tall to be shoved under my mezzanine and be stored in like the long-term storage area. But this one should be just short enough to be stored under there. If not, I'll make some custom wheels so I can shove it under there and get it a little bit lower. But I'll shove this away in a corner. I know it works, I've been testing it, and it'll be ready to move into the new shop when that gets built. So that's all I have for the compressor saga. I hope it's over. I've never actually tested this one. I just really expect that when they're sending me a replacement for a broken unit, they went above and beyond to inspect it before they shipped it out. So I'm just assuming this works. But if you're curious to see if this one ends up working, I'm not gonna test it till I build that shed, because this one's all hooked up. I don't wanna deal with it. I don't wanna find out there's any problems. So if you do wanna find out if this one works, subscribe. I should have the shed built sooner rather than later, so I expect that video to be out before the end of the year. Until then, I'm gonna have a few more videos about some shelving that is off camera and I'm not gonna show you right now that I put in here, and I just keep moving along on building this workshop out. If you like this video, give it a like, and I'd appreciate any suggestions on how to go about doing the air drying system for this. I know there's refrigeration systems and desiccant systems and using a whole bunch of copper pipe, and I don't really know what's the best for me. So if you have any thoughts or something that's really worked for you, let me know down in the comments. And as always, have a good one.